You are listening to Curious Cat, a podcast that examines the shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. I'm your host, Jennifer Holtz. Join me every week as I explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit. Welcome to Curious Cat. How are you this week? Have you been seeing more places in your life, more spaces where two opposing forces or states of being intersect? Have you witnessed the magic in those juicy spaces? If you're nodding yes, has the supernatural winked at you, given you more overt breadcrumbs? Gosh, I hope so. I want to start out this week saying happy birthday to my soul sister, Molly. I'm recording on her birthday, and she did something that I hope everybody out there listening has someone like this in their life. I had something really jarring happen to me this week. It was really bad, and I was able to just kind of vent via a verbal text to her and to my other soul sis, Kate. And they gave me their honest opinion. I was like, do I need to talk about this on the podcast? And they were like, your show is about love and light, and it doesn't belong there. And I love that. I love that I had a safe place to land with my big feelings, and they didn't judge it. They were just like, this isn't what the purpose of Curious Cat is. So huge, loving hug and wink to my soul sisters for being there for me. This morning, though, as I ran, I watched the clouds move across the sky. One in particular was shaped like a pyramid. It made me think of UFOs. If there was a UFO cloaked into it, I was giggling as I watched it. And then it morphed into this shark. Is cloud scrying even a thing? I think it is. I feel like it's very druid, right? Certain shapes, colors, designs, patterns, and images evoke this deep knowing in me. They remind me of connections to everything else that I forget sometimes. A spiral, for example, it calls to mind a whirlpool, a vortex of energy, a portal, spirals, pyramids, waves, checkerboard patterns, art on a cave wall, the handprint of another human being that was created thousands of years ago that we can picture placing our hand over. It's a mental link to the ancient ones that stretches the bounds of time and space. Art is a magical bridge, both from us to other civilizations or cultures or individuals in the past and present, but it's also an internal bridge between sides of our brain, the logic and the creativity, the math and the mental health. Our self-expression is potent medicine. Let's get into it. When asked by Bill Moyers who interprets the divinity inherent in nature for us today, who are our shaman, who interprets unseen things for us, Joseph Campbell responded, quote, "It is the function of the artist to do this. The artist is the one who communicates myth for today," end quote. This comes from his book, The Power of Myth. The color on the walls makes a difference to mental health. They've proven that. And our appetites and our attention spans. The design of a coffee shop layout impacts our experiences as an employee or a customer. Communities that feature local artists on wall murals around their downtown or sculptures and posters convey their priorities, right? The flow of a park path The tag art on a passing train, the shade of clothing we choose to wear to a lunch versus a business meeting, the color we choose for our dog or cat, the pattern on a blanket we gift a new baby in the family. Colors, texture, patterns, design, shapes, perspective shifts, vibrance, all of these qualities add to the quality of our life. And yet, do we value artists? Do we take time in our own lives to put a pencil to paper and, like a magician, portray a three-dimensional object like a mug of coffee or an orchid and transform it into something flat or 2D? That is magic. I'm convinced that what modern civilization casts as not important is a telltale sign of what is most important, most needed for us to lean into to find our power pockets. Art is yet another massive power up. Grind at a job for 9 hours or grind at school. And then if you're a student, face hours of homework afterward. There's barely time to eat. So 0 time for art, right? There's no time to touch nature, hardly any time to sleep. And maybe the foods that you grab, you can't make yourself. So you grab salty, greasy fast food just for some fuel. You don't have time or energy to meditate, to create, or even get good, solid sleep. And it's self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Because if you're stressed, if you eat like crap and are stuck inside, you can't sleep well, I guarantee. And your body isn't happy, so your gut gets sick. We've got it all wrong, flip-flopped. Up is down, left is right, but it isn't hopeless. We can steal time for ourselves. It's the best kind of thievery. We can start small, 5 minutes while we're waiting in line, and pick out a color in the surroundings. Ask how it makes you feel. 2 minutes when you're stuck in the shower and draw your name in steam on the glass. A minute when you're stuck in a Zoom meeting and you look out a window, finding a familiar shape in a cloud. Friend of the show, comedian and tarot reader Karen Rontowski has been saying for the last 2 years at least that I remember that making art is vital right now. It's critically important to staying mentally and physically healthy in this time. She recommends taking the practice of morning minutes and adding art to that space, to that time, even if it's just 2 minutes of doodling on whatever your brain thinks up or your eye lands on first. I know I'm doing this episode backward. You're not imagining things. I'm giving the remedy before laying out the research and the facts. In a time when Western educational institutions have largely cut art, music, and other forms of self-expression out of the classroom, I want to be countercultural. I want to challenge us to ask what makes us human. Self-expression, poetry, painting, singing a lullaby to calm a child. Imagine a world where the most revered among us were the artists. They were the leaders, the shaman we look to for balance in our days, with our planet, with one another. My gosh, what a world it would be. But today, for the next 40 minutes or so, I'd like to share the evidence and a couple stories about the importance of art on our brains. Engaging in making art has a positive impact on the brain, enhancing cognitive functions, emotional regulation, and overall well-being, with research showing that it can increase neuroplasticity and improve our memories. It can also improve problem-solving skills and enhance our creativity, obviously, right? Here's a more detailed look at the benefits. enhanced cognitive functions. Art making activates different areas of the brain, improving cognitive functions like problem solving, memory, and spatial awareness. Increased neuroplasticity. Engaging in creative activities stimulates the brain, increasing neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Improved memory and learning. Art can help improve memory and learning by engaging different parts of the brain and creating new neural pathways. Regular participation in the arts and crafts can reduce the risk of cognitive decline in older adults. There are emotional and mental health benefits to doing art as well. Art making helps regulate emotions, allowing individuals to explore and communicate their thoughts and feelings. Stress and anxiety reduction. Engaging in creative activities can reduce stress and anxiety levels. Improved mental health. Art therapy, which uses art-based techniques, is an evidence-based intervention for mental health issues like anxiety and depression. Enhancing self-expression. Art provides a platform to self-express, allow individuals to explore and communicate their innermost thoughts and emotions. Increased creativity and imagination. Art stimulates creativity and imagination, fostering new ways of thinking and problem solving. Improved overall well-being. Engaging in the arts improves well-being, with studies showing that those who make art or attend cultural events are happier and have better mental health. Therapeutic benefits. Art therapy can be particularly effective for children and individuals with mental health conditions, helping them process difficult emotions and experiences. I was thinking of grief therapy, right? Increased social connection. Art can foster social interaction and connection, whether through group art projects or attending art events. From greatergoodberkeley.edu comes an article about the impact art has on the brain. Here are some key points. A new book called Your Brain on Art by Susan Magsamen and Ivy Ross helps explain why that might be the case. By focusing in on the science of neuroaesthetics, or how our brains respond to aesthetic and artistic experiences, the authors make the case that art is good for our physical and mental health, and that we should all incorporate more of it into our lives. It may seem a mystery that we make or enjoy art at all, but art has been part of every culture on the planet for tens of thousands of years. Actually, they just found a cave with drawings that are 200,000 years old. That's how far back we have evidence that we've been expressing ourselves. But I'm sorry I interrupted the article with this new information. This means art is central to our survival somehow, perhaps helping us to make new intuitive leaps and innovate, and to help bind us to one another. As the authors explain, appreciating or making art involves using many parts of the brain, from those that process our senses to those involved in emotion, memory, and cognition. We're drawn to experiencing art because doing so lights up the pleasure centers of our brains, creating a warm feeling that encourages us to want more of the same. It's much the way our brains respond to fulfilling basic needs like food and sex. When you experience virtual reality, read poetry or fiction, see a film or listen to a piece of music, or move your body to dance, to name a couple things in many arts, you are biologically changed, write the authors. There is a neurochemical exchange that can lead to what Aristotle called catharsis, or a release of emotion that leaves you feeling more connected to yourself and others. There is ample evidence evidence that engaging in the arts improves well-being. For example, one study involving more than 23,000 British participants found that those who either make art at least once a week or attended cultural events at least once or twice a year were happier overall and had better mental health than those who didn't. This was independent of their age, of their marital status, of their income, health behaviors, social support, and more. Though it's hard to know in large survey studies whether art makes people happier or happier people are more likely to make art or respond to it, at least one study points toward the former. A longitudinal study in Japan also showed that people who engaged in artistic activities like crafts or painting at one point in time had less cognitive impairment later than those who didn't, which again supports a direct effect of art on well-being. These kinds of studies make a case for making art a regular part of our lives, say the authors. Like exercise and good nutrition, the arts on a routine basis will support your health, they write. And I've got links to their book in the show notes. I've got it now and I've been reading through it. It's really incredible. And it really backs up with the research, the scientific research that's taking place right now. How can art heal us? Not only can art improve general well-being, it can also be used to prevent or heal us from physical and mental illness. Art therapy is a growing field useful for many ailments and situations, including when therapists work with people who may have difficulties communicating directly about their inner experience. I'm thinking of children suffering from trauma or people with autism. The arts are being used in at least 6 distinct ways to heal the body: as preventative medicine, as symptom relief for everyday health issues, as treatment or intervention for illness, developmental issues, and accidents, as psychological support as a tool for successfully living with chronic issues, and at the end of life to provide solace and meaning, the authors write. Probably the most robust research on art and healing has been done with music. Listening to music or playing or singing music has been tied to things like reduced stress and pain and a better immune function. Singing has also been shown to help women overcome postpartum depression more quickly, while listening to music can reduce symptoms in people suffering from migraines. A 2020 National Endowment for the Arts report that reviewed 116 studies on music therapy for opioid users found that listening to music helps soothe their pain, reduce their need for medication, and encourage them to seek treatment for addiction. Music is not the only art that heals, though. One study found that coloring and drawing reduce people's heart rate and increase their respiratory sinus arrhythmia. It's a marker of good cardiovascular health, while making them feel less anxious. Sculpting with clay has been found to change wave patterns in our brains in ways that reflect a relaxed, meditative state. There is evidence that listening to poetry can have similar effects on the brain as listening to music can, giving us peak emotional experiences. The authors go through many examples of how people turn to art when they need to heal from acute to chronic trauma. For example, first responders, war veterans suffering post-traumatic stress disorder, or people of color facing ongoing discrimination. They also highlight programs using art therapy to help folks in their recovery and research labs studying healing through art, such as the National Endowment for the Arts Creative Forces program for vets and the Drama Therapy Theater and Health Lab at New York University. Some of the connections between art and healing offered in the book seem a bit wild. For example, the authors point to the work of John Boulay, who has used various sound patterns to aid people suffering from trauma or other mental health disorders. Though evidence for the effectiveness of this treatment may be thin, it's intriguing to consider the possibilities of sound healing, given that some experiments have found sound waves can cause heart cells to move and form new tissue and protect us from the harmful effects of Alzheimer's disease. Okay, and footnote right there, because that leads us to next week's episode, which is all about music, and also this breakthrough research, which is even more current than this article, about the effect of sound waves on our ability to heal. It's incredible. But they go on. What does all of this point to? Though the research may be relatively young, there's enough to say that we should all consider making time for art and aesthetic experiences in our everyday life. Enjoying art seems to contribute to our flourishing, say the authors, helping us to stay healthier and happier. To that end, they argue that the arts belong in schools, where they help augment both learning and well-being in children, and they encourage adults to engage in art too, whether that means painting, composing, cooking, or dancing, or it means listening to music, walking in nature, watching a play, or sitting inside a cathedral. That's because art does so much good for our minds and our bodies, helping us to cultivate our curiosity, stay open to our emotions, experience surprise or novelty, think differently about life, embrace ambiguity, engage the senses, feel awe, and more. It may even help heal your soul. The arts can transform you like nothing else. They can help move you from sickness to health, stress to calm, sadness to joy, and they enable you to flourish and thrive, write the authors. Are you ready? The world and its beauty are there waiting for you. End quote. They end with such an inspirational message and reminder. The arts can transform you like nothing else. Why do you think that is? Maybe it's the simple but profound perspective shift making art brings. A pencil and a scrap of paper, and looking at an object, a random item, or a beloved pet, or a plant, or a tree, and then taking time to recreate it in any form you can onto that paper, it takes us out of our egos, out of the me grind of daily thinking, right? It takes us out of ourselves, even if for a few minutes, and that is no small feat. I was bullied out of studying art in college, and that's, first of all, shame on me for letting that happen. But I gotta tell you the story. I love my mother dearly. Her life has been dedicated to helping students find their thing, and that's all students. And early on, she acknowledged that college was not for every learner, and that all work is good work, important and valuable. Trades are vital. Military is vital. Service work is imperative. So too are scientists and teachers and doctors and lawyers and creative writers and accountants and historians and hairstylists and contractors and deep cleaning gurus and more. There's some irony, though, in my family history and our story. My mother's mother, a woman grown up in Chicago in the early 1900s, wanted to attend art school. She was Catholic and consulted her priest, who said her only job was to find a husband and start having children. My mother told me that story many times growing up. So when I attended the University of Washington, I took art history courses and I excelled in them. They were fascinating. I found them so easy. We had to create these projects using art techniques we learned about and add layers of meanings, and mine were routinely shown to lecture halls of over 1,000 students as the example. I was good. I was really good. I told my mom I wanted to change my degree path from communications and psychology to graphic design and art history. She said she wouldn't give me another dollar towards my degree if I did that. Yeah, it's my fault for not standing up for my dream, my talents. I know. I held down 2 jobs concurrently to keep up with tuition and books and expenses. So the thought of having no financial support to pay rent scared the heck out of me. And it scared me into sticking on the path my mother approved of. I look back and I'm grateful for every step of that journey. It brought me to here and now. It helped me to be the emotional support for my kids that I didn't have. And I've been assuring them that our financial support isn't based on our decisions about their lives, but their paths chosen by them. That experience as a college student is why I'm shining a light on the need for art right now with you. Like brushing our teeth each day and drinking water, we need to see art as essential. If you don't think you're capable, though, of creating art, you need to stop. Stop and answer this. Who creates the images you see as you sleep in your dreams? Yeah, it's you. You create entire worlds. From the fashion, the buildings, other people, animals, entire landscapes, right down to the blades of grass. That's you, baby. That's you. So stop with the limiting thinking. You are capable. And as we've been discussing, art takes many forms, from drumming to humming to sketches to poetry to painting ceramics to using chalk on a sidewalk to arranging flowers to quilting to so many more creative expressions. It's hard, though, to find time in our jam-packed days for art, but injecting art can be as simple as thinking an extra minute about what to wear for the day. Here are some great suggestions from the Roanoke Star about injecting art into our everyday. Number 1, artistically decorate your home. You generally spend a significant amount of time in your home. Your house should therefore be as expressive as possible. It should create an environment that allows you to enjoy your artistic side. Thus, you could also incorporate art through your home decor. There are many ways of using an artistic expression for decorating. These include wall paintings, sculptures, and ornaments. How you choose to decorate your residence should reflect your taste and personality. Try out different expressions and see what gives you a sense of comfort and brings together the overall aesthetics of your home. Number 2, make art your hobby. Your hobbies are an essential part of your daily life. They make life pleasant, break the monotony of daily routines, and promote a healthy lifestyle. While many people make sports or cars or technology gadgets their hobbies, you could turn art into your hobby. And there are many types of art, including painting, drawing, music, sculpting, dancing, and many more to pick from. To integrate art into your life, you should pick the right form that interests you. Set aside a little time per week to try out the art type you've chosen. Don't worry if you're not very good at it. Just get started, and you could develop it into something spectacular. Number 3, listen to music. One can hardly talk about art without mentioning music. Shakespeare once said, "If music be the food of love, play on." Music has the potential to alter your mood and speak to your feelings and emotions. It has also been noted to help relax your body and mind. If you want to include this art in your lifestyle, take time to listen to some music. Number 4, wear artistic fashions. Fashion is one method of expressing yourself. It's also a way you can incorporate art into daily life. There are many forms of artistic fashion expression, including your clothes' design, texture, colors, and prints. They give an example of rocking a t-shirt with prints of your favorite artistic articulation. You may also opt for using your own designs to customize your apparel. Number 5, watch movies. Movies are one of the most fascinating forms of art. Of course, some uninteresting, melodramatic blockbusters are being churned out, right? But inspiring, critically acclaimed masterpieces are still available, and cult classics, I have to add. Take time and appreciate the different genres showing in movie theaters and online streaming platforms. Number 6, take pictures. We all pretty much have a phone in our hands, right? Take pictures. It's a great way of integrating art into your life. Taking pictures of the things you find interesting is an excellent way of being creative. Taking photos also helps us to slow down and appreciate our local environment. Number 7, learn a new skill. If you have a lot of time on your hands, you could learn a new art form. For example, if you're interested in music, you can enroll in a beginner's class to learn how to play an instrument. You can also explore sculpting, dancing, painting, and so on. Number 8, visit galleries and museums. And a lot of cities have like a free day, like free Friday. The first Friday of the month is free to walk through art galleries and museums. So check out the local paper and the local calendar to find those to make the most of it. Number 9, take nature walks. Taking a walk can be easily described as a form of exercise, but it's also a great way to integrate art into your life. When you take a walk, you get to appreciate the natural environment around you. You could also enjoy the beauty of the urban plan and the architecture of your city. And remember that phone in your pocket. Get it out and take a couple pictures. Number 10, attend art events. Incorporating art into your life also involves visiting art events. Those include festivals, fairs, theaters, operas, bands, modern art displays, and concerts. Almost every town across the nation this weekend will have some sort of sidewalk fair or art fair, or even the farmers markets that are starting up this spring. Those are forms of art, right? A feast for your eyes. Number 11, download art apps on your favorite thing, like a favorite iPad or phone. As a way of killing time and keeping yourself busy, you could download an app for art. Such technological enhancements, they write, could help enrich your creative side with just a few clicks. You can doctor photos, you can paint with your finger, you can have coloring books, you can learn Zentangle, you can learn the elements of graphic design, all because of an app. Here are some simple suggested creative activities if we haven't given you enough food for thought. Sketching and drawing. Carry a sketchbook and some drawing tools with you and dedicate 15 to 30 minutes a day to sketching or drawing. I would also say grab a Post-it pad. You know you have one in your workspace, and a pencil, and throw that into a bag. And 5 minutes is fine for this activity. They say journaling. Use a journal to document your thoughts, feelings, and observations, or try some free expression writing. Collage. Create collages using magazines, newspapers, or found objects. Color your mood. Assign colors to different emotions and express them through art. Emotions wheel. Use an emotions wheel worksheet to help explore and express different emotions through art. Nature art. Find inspiration in nature and create art inspired by your surroundings. Sound exploration. Explore different sounds and create art inspired by them. If you live in the Seattle area, there is a sound garden that is free at Magnuson Park, and it's amazing. You don't have to do anything, but the wind blows through and makes music with these beautiful things hanging there. And if you're wondering why it sounds familiar, yeah, Soundgarden took their name from that part of that part. Movement meditation. Combine movement with art creation, such as painting while dancing or drawing while walking. That would be really difficult, right? I draw when I'm on an airplane sometimes because I'm trying to channel my anxiety about being on the plane into a pad of paper, and my jolting hand because of the vibration of the aircraft craft, it just adds to the texture of my drawings. That's what I call it. They suggest personalized poetry. Write and illustrate your own poems. Abstract art creation. Experiment with abstract art techniques, such as using different materials and colors. Create drawings in themes. Okay, I just saw this online. Somebody sketched the same tree over the course of a year, and the same exact tree, and they just sketched it every day, and it was incredible. They showed it as like a flip book on TikTok. It was incredible. They also encourage us to engage with art, to attend art events, join art classes, visit art galleries and museums, download those art apps, observe and appreciate art, create a dedicated art space in our own little nook of the world. They also say share our art, share artwork with friends, family, or online communities. And you guys probably know that's one of my favorite things to do. If I draw a dragon, I like to take a hike and then tuck the dragon drawing into the branches of a tree or a climbing wall, and hope that somebody that is exactly right will find it. And I write a little message in love on the back about the dragon and about just wishing them love and luck in the rest of their days. And I usually get a little wink from the universe that dragon was found, which is so funny because something pops up, a song will pop up and I'll go, or that picture will actually pop up on my phone camera that I took months ago of when I originally made it. So it's really fun. It's a very fun way to take my art and just send it out into the world. I hope some of those that they suggested spoke to you and they got you itching to express yourself because your point of view is unique and it's important to put into the world. What does your favorite color say about you? Okay, I found this republished on Pioneer Woman's website. What does your favorite color say about you? Here's the rundown. Perk up your ears for your favorite hue. Josiah Soto writes, do you have a favorite color? While this question might be more common for kids in school, it's still a fun thing to think about. You can probably picture which color is the most predominant in your wardrobe, or even what the color scheme is in your living room or your bedroom. That raises the question, what does your favorite color say about you? While color preferences may not definitively unveil personality traits, we can gain insight into an individual's expression by deferring to universal archetypes from nature and cultural history to understanding a color's meaning, says Ine Julia Kim. She's the senior staff therapist and assistant clinical director at Davenport Creative Arts Therapy. That can explain why many people's favorite color changes over time, or even why some people have more than one favorite color. So yes, it's okay if you think a green shirt makes your eyes pop out more, but your home walls always happen to be blue. White is found in many serene natural elements like snow, clouds, the moon, and flowers. It's no wonder Kim says the color represents purity, goodness, angelic, hope, divinity, innocence, and peace. That also explains why a new bride traditionally wears white in many cultures. A simplistic color such as white can also mean that those who favor it may identify with qualities such as cleanliness, minimalism, peace, positivity, elegance, and order. Red is a bold, vibrant color that makes a real statement. As Kim points out, red can be found in ripe fruits and blossom flowers, signaling fertility or life. However, it's also the color of someone's cheeks when they're flushed, which can happen when they're feeling flirtatious, shy, or even upset. This is why the color red is often associated with words like passion, romance, anger, and aggression, says Kim. All of this to say, those who love the color red identify with wanting to be seen, attracting attention, boldness, assertiveness, and intensity. Purple is truly one of the most remarkable colors. It cannot exist without the mixing of red and blue pigments, which is why it's associated with creativity and magic. Historically, purple was worn by royalty or nobility to signify luxury, importance, and wealth, Kim says. Similarly, people who are drawn to purple identify with characteristics such as sophistication, elegance, poshness, or uniqueness. Purple is truly one of the most remarkable colors. Now let's talk about blue. Say hello to the rarest color of them all. Blue. That might be hard to believe at first, given that blue is associated with things like the sky and the ocean. But Kim points out that very few organisms carry the chemical compound that can create the true blue pigment. Like the sky and the ocean, blue creates a feeling that is tranquil and soothing, though it's also sometimes related to feelings of sadness, often perceived as the opposite of red. Blue exudes waves of trust and dependability, which is why people who are attracted to blue may appreciate qualities such as coolness, calmness, and loyalty. Green hardly needs an introduction as a color. It's all around us. Just take a look outside and you'll see it in the grass. The greens are just permeating the world. Many plants in the natural world have the green pigment. Our ancestors knew that a green environment meant life, meant abundant resources and health, says Kim, which is why it's the color of spring, renewal, and rebirth. This fact is what makes green feel new and fresh, which can be associated with prosperity. If you're attracted to green, she adds that you may identify closely with things of nature, growth, and vitality. Orange. If you're a fan of sunsets, autumn, or campfires, then you're probably in love with the color orange. But you can also find orange in fruits, vegetables, and even some animals. The color comes from mixing red and yellow, two colors that are already intense on their own. Kim says that orange tends to be associated with things like vitality, energy, warmth, and comfort. Someone who likes the color orange may be considered outgoing, warm, fun, inviting, and cheerful. Yellow. The mere mention of yellow is enough to make a lot of people smile. Having close associations with the sun, it's easy to see why the color is often related to words such as energetic, happy, warm, cheerful, and bright, Kim explains. In a literal sense, yellow is the color of light from the sun, which illuminates an area of darkness. It's no wonder yellow brings on a hopeful and optimistic feeling. Anyone who takes a strong liking to yellow may identify with traits such as youthfulness, brightness, positivity, and being noticed. Pink. Did you know that pink is one of the most common colors to appear in nature? Plenty of flowers, fruits, insects, and even birds showcase shades of pink. The pink in flowers are really used to attract birds and insects, signaling its readiness for pollination, says Kim. Pink is also referred to as a lighter shade of red, which is why it can be associated with words like tenderness, romance, and softness. So if a person loves all things pretty and pink, they exude love, affection, innocence, femininity, and sweetness. Okay, my gosh. What's that say about me? Because my favorite color is black, and it's not even in the list. I'm going to look it up real quick. Okay, AI says black is mysterious, powerful, and potentially reserved. That feels so accurate. I feel so seen by AI. One final note about those favorite colors. What about the colors that you don't like? You naturally avoid. Listen again to the list of colors that were described and ask if there's something about that description and your own soul journey that connects to your shadow, a part of yourself you've always felt the need to hide away or you haven't felt free to express. Does it link to that color? For me, up until recently, that color was pink. And reading that it represents tenderness, softness, love, and femininity, yeah, it makes sense. I've only recently delved into my inner child work, and that younger me felt like a failure from day one. I was here to be love, and more love, but I was born to parents that despised each other. So I was a failure from day one. How could I fix that? So since unpacking those boxes, I've realized it was never my job to fix their marriage. And since doing that work, I have been naturally gravitating to the color pink. I mean, even angels that are represented with pinks and golds. In fact, just this morning, I did a meditation and I sent love and peace out to the world, and I saw it as a mist of pink and gold. That is so interesting. This week, do your brain and mental health a favor, would you? And put pen to paper, or meditate on your favorite color, or look for a familiar animal in a passing cloud, or wear your favorite color to work. Feel into that connection between the sides of your brain as they hum in harmony, and happy hormones flood your system while you use your creative side. Self-expression is the most human trait. Use it, and often. Until next week, stay curious. I love you.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you looking for a new podcast that appeals to your scientific curiosity, but is also a little bit spooky?
Show me how I died in a past life.
Well, look no further, because this cat is where it's at.
He had concerns about the ethics surrounding AI, feeling they had achieved consciousness.
Curious Cat Podcast examines the shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. Listen every week with your host, Jennifer Holtz, as she and her guests explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit.
We were healing karma together. They were all kind of predestined to resolve something.
Listen on all your favorite streaming apps and continue the conversation on Twitter at CuriousCatPodCA, or find Jennifer and all her links at Jennifer L. Holtz, spelled HOTES.com.